guys, this is another episode of Art and Our Entertainment, and I want to talk about falling in love on the path to hell. Issue 1. This was incredible. This is really good. You know what? I was trying to figure out how are they going to make the Western world and the Eastern world come together in this, because I was like, how does it make any sense? So the story starts off with McGrath. McGrath, he is an assassin, from what we know. He's a hunter of men. He follows a group of men into a church cathedral, and he kills them. So you already know what type of dude you're dealing with. These guys that McGrath was hunting thought they were safe because they were in this cathedral and it was holy ground, and they thought McGrath would not unleash his wrath upon them, and they were desperately wrong. So that's how the story starts. It gives us all this back information, about events and what, and things, why things are, why they are. Some little history of certain things, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was talking about the cathedral that they were in. It starts off in 1876. It says 2 events of significance occurred in Los Angeles. The Southern Pacific Railroad connected to the city by rail to San Francisco, and the Cathedral of St. Vibiana was completed. Excuse me if I mess that up. Vibiana's unlikely journey to become the patroness of Los Angeles began when her tomb was found in Roman catacombs in 1853. All that is known of her comes from the inscription accompanying her bones. She was a young virgin martyr that died a horrific and violent death in defense of her faith. As the great American age of expansion culminated in the Golden State, the Roman Catholic Church wanted deep roots in the City of Angels. Pope Pius, I want to say Pius the 11th, decreed that Vibiana was a saint and dispatched her remains to the new cathedral on Main Street. History would prove time and again that a grisly murder victim was, regrettably, the perfect choice for Los Angeles. Just 1 year after the opening of her cathedral, 5 hard men sought refuge, I can't speak, within her walls from a killer that had been stalking them for weeks. The men believed the assassin wouldn't dare strike at them while they skulked on consecrated ground. Yeah, that's the guy that they're running from. And it just started off so, I thought it was going to start off slow. You know what I'm saying? There's these guys, and they're trying to figure out a way to get more men to fight this guy named McGrath. My son just woke up. I was talking. So it starts. So this guy he's a hunter. And I don't know why he's hunting these people, but it's what he does. And it was really cool. It's 100% right here at this part of the story, like a not Midwestern, but a Western. And so they're talking about this dude McGrath like he's a badass. And one of the dudes hiding from him is he's like, hey, I reckon you won't do too much sleeping until McGrath is dead. Gil, don't leave that door, you understand? I heard you the first time. And they're talking about how one of the dudes, he's like, we had a dozen men before this thing started. He said, now we're running low on men and bullets, and frankly, now that we're in Los Angeles, we're out of land upon which to run, so unless you want to start swimming. And so there's this guy, I want to say, so they're all, the people that are running away from McGrath are all in this church, and they're discussing ways how they can, get rid of McGrath, which is this badass on the cover. And, we're going to need more men, we're going to need more guns and ammunition. And this dude thinks he's the shit. You know what I mean? He's like, I got this all covered. This guy's been hunting us down, but I'm gonna figure out a way to kill him. And all I need is more men and more bullets. Well, that was wrong because, boom, this guy it just pops off, man. It pops off. This dude McGrath is the shit. He killed everybody. He's like, phew. Yeah, he wasn't playing. I was just trying to figure out. I was like, why did he kill them? Like, what's going on? And then he gets shot, and and then just it switches over to Japan. It switches over to Japan. It says across the Pacific Ocean, the nation of Japan was in great turmoil. How this becomes relevant to McCraft's life is the crux of this story, about this tale. The imperial, I don't want to mess it up. Mahi government faced an uprising from the last of the samurais. So yeah, the Satsuma Rebellion of 1877 claimed tens of thousands of lives before being extinguished. The leaders were dead, and the disarming of the remaining rebels was underway on the island of Kyushu. Yeah. So we're in Japan, 1877, and this is our protagonist, and her name is Agatu Asami, and she, she came from a family of. She says was born into a samurai family and rebelled against the life that was expected of her. Her parents finally relented and trained her. Her life was a dedication to Bushido. So I think at that time women were restricted to certain roles, and she wasn't willing to conform, which was dope. That's a really dope premise. She was a samurai. Like what? And so she's forced to concede defeat. Because the samurais lost her samurai, her samurai tradition, and her people, they her side lost. As samurai warriors, they lost, because she had guns. They were up against a side that had guns and was moving away from the sword, and so she had to lay her sword down in a pile like the rest of her samurai, which is, it says, was a really big. It's a really big it just signifies total defeat and shame. And so it says to lay down her naginata and swords was a shame that would stain her forever. Yeah, so she had to put down her sword. I'm like, damn, that's how it starts? Like, what? I'm a little tired, y'all. I'm trying to wake up for y'all. It says if Agata Asami had struck down every man that joked about her sex, there would be no men in Kyushu. And so, it's just basically telling us right there that she's stubborn, which is really cool. I think that she's gonna need to be, because she's gonna be in the world of hell, just like McGrath at the ending. They're like, yeah, I was still trying to figure out when I was reading this. I was like, dang, how does this come together? So, anyways, back to what I was saying. The peace, it was fragile. It was fragile in this moment between them, even though the samurai had lost. And so, these the local officials wanted them to just like, they wanted the samurai just to be completely embarrassed. And Asami, she was not having that shit. So she lashed out at the officials and just started cutting. After they shot down one of her samurai peers, she had enough. She cut that official's hand off, man. I was like, oh my God, like, shit. She's not going out without a fight. And dude, let me tell you, the action sequences are just freaking phenomenal, man. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, look at that. Like, what? Dude, look at the color clashing. I'm not colors clashing, but just like complementing complement each other. I've never even seen an action scene like that in a comic book. Like, what? It's incredible. So, yeah, and then the dude starts firing at her from that chair, like he was the boss of a Sega game. He got up and started shooting at her, and he's like, pow, pow, and then she just, ooh. And then on top of that, what got things just really going crazy after that is that it says the decapitated head of the Marquise.
Hey, will you come eat?
Yeah, hold on, give me 5 seconds. So it said the decapitated head of the Marquise demoralized the army and sent the samurai to a frenzy. So I don't know if I said his name right. Yeah, so she just had his head, basically the ruler's head, and then they just started clashing. As soon as they seen that she had did that, they were like, yeah, we're going back at it. We're fighting again. We got gripes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the visuals just incredible. I like that there's not talking on every page, on every panel. Like that's look how unique the colors are. The color choice, red and I think that's purple and looks like purple and kind of pink a little. I don't know. Like that is beautiful. There's blue, obviously, shades of blue, and then just the Japanese these buildings. Like I love this type of art, man. I didn't know what to expect. Like I heard this was a good series, and so they're going down. So Asami, it says the path of every warrior ends in the same place, death. Some do not fear the destination. Some even welcome it. So they're both having like it almost like it's like they're going through the same thing, but differently in their own ways. But they're dealing with death and fighting, and what does it lead to? Being a warrior. So they're both sitting at the beach, right? They both make their way to a beach somehow. It's almost like they see this like the same event happening, And I'm like, what's that about? So it says, Ogata Usami staggered to the sea, intent on marching in and depriving her enemies of her head, because she was basically it was basically a death sentence. But she was stunned by the appearance of an island she'd never seen before. Okay, so she's seen an island she's never seen before. McGrath is sitting on the other, the other side of the Pacific Ocean, and he says McGrath sold a bottle of whiskey from a bar and stumbled miles to where America vanished into the water. Against all reason, his gaze was fixated on the same strange island. Okay, and then like a big thunderstorm happens, lightning, and you see lightning, and then they both end up washed up, or they both get like relocated to this other dimension. It looks like that. It's like, so they're both hurtling to some different dimension, I would assume, and then they wake up on a strange island. That's McGrath. He wakes up, and that's Usami. And you're like, what is going on? You see just all these dead people. See that? So they're not the only ones that washed up on shore. It's like Death Stranding or something. I don't know. So trying to figure it out. And, Usama, she catches up to McGrath and puts a knife under his throat. And he's like, whoa, I'm pretty sure the language is going to be a language barrier because she's from Japan. He's from America. It's like the late 1800s. So he's like, hey, please don't kill me. He's like, I don't even know who you are. So then they, but they have to think fast because there's more people and more problems that they're facing than each other. So a big ass monster comes, and I'm like, whoa, okay, what is going on? They're definitely in a different dimension. Like, I know the title, but are they really in hell? And then a guy emerges, and he's like, if you want to survive, basically come with me. Welcome to nowhere. There is no leaving, no escape, safe from death. No, he said, there's no escape safe from death. I am Mohan. I see just the two of you survive today's corpse tide. So it's called a corpse tide. I don't know how they got there. I think that's called the corpse tide. Um, a bad omen. We must run at best pace. You were loud enough to raise the dead. More of them will come. And it says the final chapters of the lonely and violent life were behind them in 1877. Neither knew how it came to be, but after the corpse tide, they walked a single path together. It led to hell. So are they really in hell? I don't know. So there's a guy Mohan who saved them, who assisted them to, slay the beast, and he's like, hey, we got to get going. There's more on the way. So it says the path led to hell. So are they really in hell, or is it just? I mean, I guess they are in hell because they're fighting for their lives, no matter if it's just to play on words or whatever. But I really like this. This is very unique, very different. I didn't know how they were going to make this work, but they just put in, maybe a cosmic dimension where they're gonna just fight monsters the whole time, or and meet new people, or have land where they're fighting monsters. And there's also humans who have maybe their own um, villages and stuff like that. I don't know. This is really cool though, man. I'm interested in it. Luckily for me, I have the second issue, so I could probably wrap my head more around it once I get that second issue under my belt. But yeah, this is good. Falling in love on the path to hell. I enjoyed this, and I'm gonna read this whole series because it's something I probably this has been like something I haven't read before. It's very unique that way. So yeah, this is my long ass review. I liked it. I give it I want to give it a 3.5 out of 4. I mean, out of 3.5 out of 5 is good.